She stepped up as my wife and handled that. And there's been many times where I've been at my lowest, and she's always been the strongest to get me back up to like, get back out there. You gotta get back out there and do what you do. Don't worry about what's happening over here. I'm gonna handle that.
They called it just a party, but that's the kind of line people use when the lights are low and the real moves happen in the shadows. Snoop Dogg just got a front row seat to the fallout. Behind the velvet rope, under bass that rattled glass and smiles worth $1 billion, something colder was cooking, and it finally touched the dog father's doorstep. Snoop's always been the picture of unbothered, cool, calm, chronic, but this time the whispers ain't circling him. They're circling her. His day one, his partner, his wife of decades, Shante Broadus.
The turmoil and the stuff that I put her through in my journey on becoming successful, because I had no understanding of what I was doing to her, how I was hurting her.
And the name wrapped up in those whispers is heavy. Sean Diddy Combs. What started as slick little rumors during Diddy's 2024 meltdown has bubbled into a full-blown, jaw-tightening storm with Snoop's family name caught in the crossfire. This ain't messy gossip for clicks. This feels personal, sharp, and calculated, like somebody lined up chess pieces while the music was blasting. When the feds showed up at Diddy's door, they didn't leave with just headlines. They left with hardware, laptops, phones, files, the whole digital life, boxed up and tagged.
You never leave home without it.
Word is, investigators didn't just find receipts. They pulled tapes, logs, messages, footage, the kind of stuff that makes powerful rooms go quiet.
Same kind of extortion that we heard when Cassie took the stand and testified on that airplane ride back from France. Diddy said, you don't do a freak-off, I'm going to release one of the freak-off videos that you are profiled in and humiliate.
Buried in one of those logs, sources say, was a simple line with a loud echo. Shante Broadus, guest at 3 exclusive Diddy events in the last 5 years. That's not an accusation, that's an appearance on a list. But when that same paperwork gets described in sealed filings as leveraged collection zones, people start side-eyeing everything. Nobody's saying she did anything wrong, no public charge, no legal smoke, but once your name pops up in those circles, the internet turns into a microscope overnight. Questions hit faster than a beat drop.
Your wife's been by you for your
She's
whole
your high
career.
school
Your high school sweetheart. She is.
You never leave home without it.
Yeah, that's right. But how has she kind of taken you on this journey? Tell us about her.
I think my wife has been my best friend for a couple of reasons. One is that she always understood who I was and who I needed to become.
And every photo, every invite, every timeline gets pulled apart frame by frame. And Snoop, he's not cracking jokes about this one at all. People close to him say the leak hit like a blindside blitz. No warning, no cushion, just impact. The second that post went live, with a grainy snap of a woman in a silver dress stepping into Diddy's Holmby Hills spot back in 2018, the energy in the Broadus house flipped from cool to code red. Quick, the dress matched the one Shante posted on Instagram that same night. Same shimmer, same heels, same slick hair, same vibe, and the caption stayed vague as ever. Out and about in LA, it said. Nobody blinked back then, but now the internet is scrubbing every pixel like it's a Zapruder film, rewinding, zooming, and screenshotting like detectives on a deadline.
When you get to become as successful as we are, you have to start doing some things that matter for the future.
Within hours, the blogs lit up like a switchboard, some accusing, some defending, some tossing gasoline just to farm clicks. But inside Snoop's circle, the chatter got laser focused on one question. Who put her name in that file in the first place? That's not gossip, that's a breach. Names don't end up in sealed logs by accident.
We all know that. I have to say, I'd never heard of this movie, and I have little kids. It was called Lightyear from 2022. I have absolutely no problem with the content. Like, he has a problem with the content in that movie. I have no problem at all. I thought that was presented as a brief history part of this movie. It wasn't a big part of the movie, and gay couples exist, and gay marriage is legal, and I found it all completely unproblematic. That said,
in Snoop's world, loyalty ain't a slogan, it's a code. He's outlasted rap wars, labeled smoke, federal pressure, and contracts sharper than razor wire. But when it comes to family, that's a red line written in permanent ink. Cross that, and the whole playbook changes fast.
Just a strong black woman off the tippy.
Word from multiple insiders says Snoop already brought in a private unit to trace the paper trail, who entered the name, who leaked the guest logs, and whether there's any real footage tying his wife to anything beyond an appearance at the door of those now infamous nights. They're tracking timestamps, access badges, and chain of custody like it's a championship game with 2 minutes left. Here's where it gets murkier, and nobody should rush to judgment because the stakes are heavy and the rumors are louder than facts right now. Former staffers from Diddy's circle have described so-called freak-off weekends.
A lot of times you would have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
Curated list, no phones, ironclad NDAs, security like a presidential perimeter, claims that should be treated carefully until verified. Some say guests were filmed in secret, others claim the footage functioned like a silence clause. Either way, those are allegations, not verdicts, and they need receipts before anyone stamps them as truth. The words blackmail and insurance keep popping up in reports like blinking hazard lights, and every blink raises the temperature another notch.
Diddy, because on Friday he finds out what his sentence is going to be, but today he found out what prosecutors would like that sentence to be, and it is vastly different from what his attorneys have suggested to the judge. Prosecutors want him to do 11 years, just over 11 years.
Snoop turned his name into a whole empire. More than music, it's merch, media, meals, and a lifestyle that crosses generations, brands, and borders. He's a rapper, a mogul, a family man, a commercial legend, Martha's favorite cosign, and the dude who can pitch hot dogs, NFTs, and wine without missing a beat. And right now, all of that is getting stress tested in real time.
Snoop Dogg saying he owns Death Row is no different than me saying Tupac was alive because I had the unreleased Tupac music. It ain't no different, bro.
Whispers say Diddy is spiraling behind bars, feeling double-crossed and iced out by people who used to stand next to him, and some claim he thinks certain big names moved a little too fast to create distance, maybe even Snoop included. Allegations like that travel quick, and once they start rolling, everybody gets jumpy about where the lines are drawn. But what did he expect when the files landed in federal hands and the lights came on for real? This was never staying in the VIP. The old code of the elite, keep the party secrets sacred, shattered the minute evidence started changing hands, and now every major player is in self-preservation mode because nobody's bulletproof when the room starts talking. Not even Uncle Snoop. Publicly, Snoop's kept it quiet. No statements, no interviews, just a sudden shift in tone that fans clocked immediately. Fewer jokes, more cryptic captions, and absolute radio silence on anything touching Diddy's orbit.
Diddy, obviously just starting out his time, well, not just starting out, but starting out his official sentence since being sentenced not too long ago. And I think suffice to say, it's not going well so far.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got 4 years and change that he's going to ultimately have to serve, although he has served already a year as he awaited his trial and then went through his trial. So
in gossip world, that kind of quiet rings louder than a diss track because it says, "We're moving careful," without saying a word. Behind the scenes, word is he's hurt, not because he believes Shantae did anything wild, but because somebody tried to use her name like a chess piece, a move on a board she never asked to sit at. Turning a wife, a mother, a respected figure into a line item in a log feels like a violation, and that's something you don't just shrug off. That's unforgivable. Insiders describe a heavy calm at home. No shouting, just strategy. Lawyers, crisis pros, and family locked in on privacy first, because the aim isn't a press tour. It's peace and protection. The quiet wasn't just at home. It was in boardrooms and back channels where real money moves, and every brand with Snoop's face on a billboard started doing enhanced due diligence overnight. Contracts got pulled up, morality clauses highlighted, and late-night emails flew with subject lines like reputational risk, immediate review, because corporations love you until heat shows up. PR folks started mapping a crisis tree. If X drops, we say Y. If Z leaks, we pivot to A, because once sealed logs and leveraged collection zones hit the rumor mill, everyone wants distance without drama. The vibe is surgical. Keep Snoop clean, protect Shantae's dignity, and don't give a single inch to trolls fishing for a headline. Meanwhile, the streets and the suites are talking two different languages, and both are loud. Industry folks whisper about secondary exposure, asking who else was on those lists and whether old NDAs can really hold when federal hands are in the mix, while fans just want one thing: truth that doesn't rip a family apart. Insiders say Snoop's team is building a hard timeline where Shantae was, who she was with, what was posted, what was archived, and where she left digital breadcrumbs like rideshare pings and venue logs. Not to play for clicks, but to have receipts if anyone tries to blur her into somebody else's chaos again. There's also a legal chess match brewing, quiet but serious. Defamation fences going up, privacy claims getting drafted, and third parties warned that mixing speculation with identity can get expensive real quick. This isn't about going to war with blogs. It's about telling the internet there's a line between curiosity and damage, and that line is written in law. At the same time, folks close to the Diddy situation keep saying two things can be true. Some gatherings were grown and messy, and not every name on a list is doing something wrong. That nuance gets lost online, but in real life it matters, because the difference between present and participating is the difference between rumor and wreckage. Low-key, there's a loyalty test happening across the whole culture: who stands 10 toes down, who fades out, and who flips the narrative for clout when the temperature rises. Snoop's brand was built on cool, but cool ain't cowardice, and moving quiet doesn't mean moving scared. It means moving smart when eyes are everywhere. Reports say Diddy's files run deep. Names, footage, conversations, backups on backups, like a vault built to outlive the storm. If Shantae's name shows up anywhere, even as a bystander or invited guest, that means plenty of other names are floating in those folders too. Executives are sweating through silk while legal teams stack motions and PR squads scrub timelines at 3 a.m., hitting archive like it's life support. Meanwhile, platforms are quietly tightening policies, and brand partners are rereading morality clauses with a magnifying glass. And Snoop, he's watching every angle, playing chess while the internet plays checkers. Quiet, patient, calculated, like someone who respects the end game more than the applause. Silence ain't fear, it's formation. If you know Calvin Broadus, you know he doesn't bark unless he's ready to bite. Quiet is reload mode, not retreat. When his circle goes radio silent, it usually means the blueprint is printing and the signatures are already drying. What's next might not come with flashing lights or loud speeches, but it'll be clean, precise, and intentional. Surgical, not sloppy. Moves like that don't trend first, they land first, and when they land, the room feels it. When the smoke finally thins, the map shifts. Alliances get reshuffled, numbers get changed, and doors that used to swing wide start staying locked tight. Diddy's fall didn't just rattle one throne, it triggered a full reckoning, and anyone who stood nearby, even innocently, is rechecking where they stood, what they saw, and what they chose to stay quiet about. For now, Snoop's silence is worth more than a press tour. Golden, guarded, and louder than any caption could be. And when he does speak, folks won't remember rumor threads, they'll remember the statement that cut through the noise like a blade. Drop your thoughts below, hit like, smash subscribe, and ring that bell to stay locked in. See you on the next one.